A good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Tuesday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition. Governance analysts say there is a weakening in coordination and synergy among different institutions in the way they operate and work together, which could affect the implementation of the second phase of the National Strategy for Transformation. Moving ahead, Congolese refugees living in the temporary camp of Nkamira in Rubavu district, along with Rwandans who recently returned from Eastern DRC and are accommodated in the Kijote transit camp in Nyabihu district, told representatives of the European Union in Rwanda that lasting peace in the DRC will only be possible if the FDLR armed group is completely dismantled. We are very glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Abera. Now, governance analysts say there is a weakening in coordination and synergy among different institutions in the way they operate and work together, which could affect implementation of the second phase of the National Strategy for Transformation. Across the country, it is common to hear some residents criticizing infrastructure provided to them for not lasting long, while others express dissatisfaction with service delivery, especially in different public institutions. Poor service delivery, they say, can also become a source of corruption, as has been affirmed by the Executive Secretary of Transparency International Rwanda, Apollinaire Mupiganyi. The Deputy Ombudsman Abbas Mukama has explained that poor collaboration among different public institutions in fulfilling their responsibilities should not be tolerated. The Executive Secretary of Transparency International Rwanda, Apollinaire Mupiganyi, has said that unless different institutions undertake self-assessment and reform the way they operate as required, this will hinder the implementation of NST2. Among the guidance the head of state gave to leaders in central and local government institutions while closing the one-day meeting held at the Gako Military Academy in Bugesera district on Monday, President Paul Kagame indicated that a leader who does not fulfill their responsibilities should not be tolerated and that what they do must be done in the interest of the country. NST2 aims to accelerate economic growth and improve the well-being of residents with a strong focus on advancing technology, creating jobs, and promoting citizen-centered governance. Moving ahead, Congolese refugees living in the temporary camp of Nkamira in Rubavu district, along with Rwandans who recently returned from Eastern DRC and are accommodated in the Kijote transit camp in Nyabihu district, told representatives of the European Union in Rwanda that lasting peace in the DRC will only be possible if the FDLR armed group is completely dismantled, as it is a major source of insecurity in the eastern part of the country. The EU ambassadors visited more than 2,000 Congolese refugees hosted in Nkamira camp, as well as around 200 Rwandans staying in Kijote camp after returning from the eastern DRC. The Rwandan returnees explained to the diplomats that many Rwandans who remain in the DRC are unable to return home because they are being held hostage by the FDLR. The European Union ambassador to Rwanda, Belen Calvo Uyara, stated that after hearing the experiences of these Congolese refugees and Rwandan returnees, the problem needs to be addressed from its root causes.
For us, it was very important to listen to the refugees' concern and why they are here, the reason why they flee the DRC. We heard a lot about the problems with the FDLR, and we heard a lot about the very difficult situations where they were targeted by their ethnic origin. For us, we listen very carefully, and these are issues that we take with us because we believe that they should be addressed as part of a sustainable solution to the conflict. essential, it is very important to address these root causes. It's essential also to find sustainable solutions for the refugees. The European Union is working also very closely with UNHCR, with WFP, and with MINEMA in addressing some of these situations.
Beyond the security challenges in the DRC, which also affect Rwanda, the EU representatives in Rwanda also visited and appreciated several development projects carried out in partnership with Rwanda. These projects include the Rubavu port, which promotes regional trade, Hanga Hub, which supports youth entrepreneurship and innovation in technology, as well as initiatives in refugee support, livestock farming, handicrafts, tourism, and other sectors. The Secretary General of the Rwanda Investigation Bureau, Colonel Pacifique Kabanda Kaigamba, has emphasized that strengthening cooperation among member states of the Eastern African Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization is essential in addressing terrorism and transnational crime in the region. Adam Squizera with more.
Terrorism, cross-border crimes, and emerging crimes, particularly those driven by technology and cyber networks, are among the major security concerns facing the region. This has underscored the need for strong collaboration and continuous training among security institutions to effectively respond and keep pace with technological advancements. The Secretary General of EAPCO, Africa Apollo, highlighted that the cooperation with other institutions is key to combating these crimes, noting that as such crimes increase, they also involve in complexity.
And this comes at a moment when we are experiencing convergences of transnational organized crime with new and developing technologies between human trafficking and drug trafficking and usage of drones, among many more. Guest of honor, sir, I'm also proud to report that the Secretariat has continued to partner with several organizations in developing capacities of member countries in the region. The Interpol Global Academy is one of our partners that have and continues to provide quite a number of training opportunities to officers in investigations and crime management in the region.
The Secretary General of the Rwanda Investigation Bureau RIB, Colonel Pacifique Kabanda Kaigamba, called on participants to strengthen partnerships aimed at eliminating barriers to information sharing, which is crucial in tracking and dismantling criminal networks across the region.
We are facing serious challenges. Crimes such as drug trafficking, cybercrime, human smuggling, and terrorism are increasing and becoming more complex. Criminals easily cross borders, so we must work together. Unity and coordination are our strongest tools.
He further stressed that the most urgent priority today is to consolidate efforts and establish a strong, coordinated approach among the security institutions in the region.
This meeting should not only be about discussion, but also about action. Let us share ideas, learn from each other, and find practical solutions that can work in our countries. Over the years, EAPCO has made strong progress. Together, we have helped communities stop criminals' networks and improve security. This success comes from trust, cooperation, and commitment. We must continue to work together and remain committed to our core values: unity, collaboration, and service.
The two-day meeting also considers strengthening multinational responses to human trafficking and drug trafficking, plus the initiatives in supporting regional operations. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
The Ministry of Environment stated that Rwanda is putting strong efforts into promoting reliable cold chain systems to preserve food harvest and vaccines as a way to support environmental protection. This was highlighted on Tuesday during the UK-Rwanda Climate Partnership Conference aimed at advancing cooling systems for agricultural products and vaccines, as well as their supply chains across Africa. Enora Gladys has the details.
Across Rwanda, farmers clearly understand that poor farming practices harm the environment, while good practices help them gain benefits from their work. The executive director of the Africa Center of Excellence for Sustainable Cooling and Cold Chain, ACES, Professor Toby Peters, affirms that cooling activities are essential and should be implemented urgently.
His Excellency the President has laid down the challenge of we need to solve cooling and cold chain, and we need to do it quickly. For me, cooling is cold chain a critical infrastructure. It's how do we maintain food. In Rwanda, across Africa, 30% of food can be lost post-harvest, primarily because it's not cold, kept cold. Equally, vaccines, you can lose 50% of vaccines. And to address these challenges, we need to have training, we need to have business models, we need to have technology design, and so on and so forth. But also, the problem is that you don't just lose a lettuce or a cabbage or food, you lose all the value. The farmers lose the opportunity, we lose the nutrition. So what we're about is how can we actually deliver cooling and cold chain infrastructure. But then the other challenge with it is that obviously this uses energy, it uses refrigerants. So how do we do it sustainable? How do we do clean cooling and cold chain?
The Minister of Environment, Dr. Bernadette Arakwiye, pointed out that challenges caused by the lack of sustainable cooling for agricultural produce are still widespread in Rwanda, and that the ACES Center will play a significant role in addressing them.
Lack of reliable cold chain system is a challenge that requires immediate attention and accountability. This is not just a technology gap, it is a system gap. And guided by our Vision 2050 and our Green Growth and Climate Resilience Strategy, Rwanda has demonstrated that economic transformation and environmental stewardship can go hand in hand. Our collaboration with ACS is a powerful example of what this looks like in practice. This was established with support from the UK government and global partners. ACS is designed as the Pan-African hub for sustainable cooling, bringing together research, training, testing, and certification under one roof. Its model is aligned with global best practice, including insight from the UNEP Cool Coalition and International Energy Agency, which emphasize that sustainable cooling is critical to achieving climate goals while supporting development. But what makes ACES unique and what positions Rwanda as a regional leader is its focus on systems capability. And that includes training the next generation of cooling technicians and engineers, testing and certifying equipment to ensure performance and efficiency, supporting the development of standards and regulatory frameworks, and last but not least, enabling local innovation and, over time, domestic manufacturing.
In his address to the central and local government leaders meeting, His Excellency President Paul Kagame highlighted that the lack of reliable cold chain systems remain a critical challenge requiring urgent attention and accountability.
What has been the problem in achieving sustainable cooling?
Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, icyo kibazo nacyo kirahari nk'uko mibuze nacyo cyatangiye kuvugwa kuva kera.
Your Excellency, as you mentioned, this issue has been discussed for a long time. The government even made investments in purchasing cold chain equipment, but many of them have not been working and have been non-functional for nearly a year.
So far in Rwanda, 30% of harvested crops are lost due to lack of refrigeration. And across Africa, the figure is nearly 40%. Meanwhile, in Rwanda, 50% of vaccines are also spoiled due to inadequate refrigeration.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has signed a 2-year agreement with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture to implement a program aimed at transforming agriculture using modern technology. The Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Solange Uituze, explains how the €1 million allocated to Rwanda by the African Development Bank will support the country's plan to increase agricultural productivity by 13 times by 2050.
According to Vision 2050, we are supposed to, or we are expected rather, to multiply the current production levels by 13 times if we want to feed Rwandans by 2050. Rwandans will be wealthy, highly educated, and aspiring to be healthy. So we are going to leverage on the technologies offered by the consortium of TAT. It is a consortium of research institutes in Africa and worldwide, even the CG centers, who are going to avail us some early generation seeds, for example, and that will allow us to fast track our capacity to get good quality seeds, and also have other technologies along the value chain, even with the access to market, post-harvest hand reduction and value addition, so that we really get more with less. And that's the objective that we are having by signing this MOU we signed today.
The representative of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Rwanda, Mateyedu Konlabigu, explains how 150 youth-led companies will be involved in implementing this 2-year program.
At the end of the day, we want to make sure that seed company, these youth businesses train, will prosper, because the country need quality seed. There's a gap in terms of seed production. At the other side, we have also youth really need jobs. If we can really help them to fill that gap, by the same time, the youth will be able to set up their businesses, mentored, and develop their businesses, and the country also will benefit, because we'll make sure that we have quality seeds in the country. And by doing that, we can really contribute to really increasing the productivity, and that's one of the key objective of the government: productivity and the production to feed our people.
The African Development Bank has allocated €5 million to be shared among 5 countries, including Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, Mozambique, Malawi, and Nigeria. The government of Rwanda has sent traders who export fruits and vegetables abroad to the United Kingdom so that they can go and learn and look for markets around the world. This comes at a time when only a few days remain before 1 month has passed since the war in the Middle East began, leaving their produce rotting in storage. But they say they are ready to continue their work because they are confident they will find other markets. Farmers who grow avocados say that previously business was going well and they were earning money, but because those who used to buy their produce and export it abroad are no longer buying from them, as their own businesses have also come to a halt, this has reduced their work and the income used to earn. After exporters told RBA that they were facing losses, they are now expressing appreciation that the government of Rwanda has given them the opportunity to send them to other countries so that they can look for alternative export markets and promote their products. The head of the Department of Export Market Development and Innovation at the National Agricultural Export Development Board, Janet Vivian Rasima, has stated that after fruit and vegetable exporters incurred losses and the Dubai market came to a standstill, they worked together with the government and resolved to send traders abroad to look for other markets. As a first step, they are taking 26 of them.
The Middle East crisis affected our exports, especially avocados, Dubai was our major market for avocados because around 92% of our avocados of Rwanda were exported to Dubai. Actually, when the crisis began, we had about 50 tons in stores, but they were assimilated by the local processing companies that make avocado oil. So it affected us, but luckily enough, we are at the end of our avocado season. Rwandan season, avocado season starts from September to March, so we are at the end of the season. But we are thinking ahead, what is going to happen. Though even when we are out of the season, there are like small quantities that are being exported, so we are looking for alternative markets. One of the alternative markets is to expand our export or market in UK. So together with ITC, we are arranging a trade visit to meet buyers in UK so that we can see how they can also take more volumes of Rwandan produce. There is also an exhibition, international food and drink, that we are going to attend and see if we can expand our markets in UK.
Rwanda exports products including fruits and vegetables, tea and Rwandan coffee to different parts of the world. Figures released by the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda show that the country earned more than $2.26 billion from exports last year. Drivers in the city of Kigali say that in the short time electric vehicles have been in use in Rwanda, they have already been of great benefit to them, especially by reducing the money they used to spend on transport, while also helping to protect the environment. The number of electric vehicles in Rwanda continues to increase, and this is one of the pathways that will help the country further protect the environment and achieve sustainable development. Those who have started using these vehicles say they have already seen many benefits from them.
It's very big difference because those cars are economical in terms of fueling, in terms of mechanics. It's a very, very, very good car in terms of saving money. In terms of comfort, when you are inside in, it's a beautiful car. Like equity, all finance institutions, they can follow the equity process they do to finance people to buy those cars. When finance institutions fund people in a good service, easier, all Rwandese, we can gain from this car, from this process of government to be using the car of EV.
Under this program, Rwanda has partners who are making it easier for those who want electric vehicles to access them.
This is to help individuals, business owners own an electric vehicle quicker and faster. This means a lot to both the clients, us, and the financing. Having this MOU in place, we have better options. We have preferable rates. So this means our clients can easily own a vehicle on lower, shall I say, or a cheaper interest rate in a flexible period of time, and as well quicker and faster. Usually clients will tell us that to take them few weeks or months to get a loan secured, and in most cases they find vehicles are easily sold out and they have to wait for a few weeks or a few days until a new batch of cars can arrive. So this is going to help the process and everything go much faster.
Partners in this program say that cooperation between the government and the private sector is essential in addressing the effects of air pollution.
The MOU that we signed is a partnership between us and CEVR, which deals in electric vehicles. So the partnership helps people who are interested in acquiring electric vehicles in getting financing from Equity Bank to get the kind of vehicle they would want to have. So this partnership will help increase their sales, but also attract customers who would have struggled to get a vehicle through getting financing from Equity Bank. Partnership helps to overcome the affordability challenge. Electric vehicles are considered to be a little bit expensive compared to fuel cars, and so that affordability is now resolved through the financing provided by Equity Bank. And these vehicles being electric helps in the overall ambition of the Rwandan government to create a green economy.
Rwanda has committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 38% no later than 2030 and by 53% no later than 2035. Among the measures adopted is increasing the number of electric cars and motorcycles. And on that note, we've come to the end of tonight's English News Bulletin. Thank you for sticking with us here in RTV News. On behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, we would like to wish you to stay safe and have a good night.